Have you ever been sitting there just stewing in stress and worry? And sometimes you don't even know why. You're just feeling like something bad's going to happen, or your stomach's all in knots, or you just feel like things are not going to work out for you in the future for some reason. Even when things are going well, it can feel like this anxiety just takes over. These negative thoughts just keep dominating your mind. And people always want to know, how do I get rid of these negative thoughts? And after studying human behavior and us humans for 35 years, I'm pretty convinced that you don't get rid of the negative thoughts. You have to learn how to redirect them. You've got to become so good at recognizing when a negative thought is there, or the unconscious belief that's driving those negative thoughts, so that you can upgrade them, so that you can redirect them, so that you can transform that energy from something that holds you back into something that moves you forward. And so I want to share a couple of tips that will help you to do this more effectively. So, step number one, when you start to feel that tightness in your stomach, or you feel that heaviness in your chest, or you're getting headaches or jaw pain or neck pain or any kind of physical distress, it's your body's way of saying that something's not right. Or another way of saying it is, I'm not safe. And so when you recognize that, then the first thing you do is you breathe, because you've got to slow your body down enough to be able to use the power of your mind. If you're sped up, then you won't be able to think clearly. And so we got to activate the relaxation response to counteract the fight or flight response that is happening inside of us when we are afraid. So when we are stressed, when we have anger, when we have anxiety, when we have too much uncertainty in life. So what you do is you breathe in through your nose, you breathe down to your belly, down to the bottom of your lungs, and then you slowly exhale. And you do that 5 times in a row. When you breathe in that way, it activates your relaxation response. It drops a little bit of serotonin and dopamine in your brain, makes you feel more at ease. The amygdala, the amygdala in your brain that controls emotion, begins to calm and soothe and relax, which allows you to experience a feeling of ease inside. If you want to make that more effective, look up. Look up while you're breathing, right? So look up towards the ceiling or look up towards the sky. And as you do that, you just breathe through your nose, and then you slowly exhale like you're letting the air out of a balloon. You do that 5 times in a row, and you'll start to experience what we call a mindset reset, where the body starts to slow down. But that's only step number one. Step number two is you use what I call power questions. Power questions make you feel more powerful. They help you focus on the outcomes that you want instead of what you're afraid of. They help you in your mind to play to win instead of playing not to lose, which is how most people do it. So instead of always focusing on how do I get away from something, we have to shift our attention to what do I want to move towards, right? And so when you focus on using power questions, they help you focus on, how do I want to feel? How do I want things to turn out? What resources do I have? Who can I lean on for support? Which is really important, because trying to figure all this out by ourselves is the hardest, most painful way of doing it. And so that's why having a community or a coach or a mentor, a best friend, uh, even these videos, right? Watching these videos where I can support you is so much more effective than you trying to figure it out all by yourself. You can't see the label when you're in the bottle. You can't catch your own blind spots, right? And you can't solve problems that your mind created without new information. And so watching this video is giving you new information. So good job watching it. High five. All right. So we use our power questions. We focus on, what do I want? How do I want this situation to turn out? How do I want to feel right now? And then you have a little conversation with yourself. You're like, well, why am I feeling this way? Maybe I'm afraid that things aren't going to turn out, or that I'm not loved or supported, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm running out. My biggest fears was I was always going to run out of time. I was going to run out of money. I was going to run out of love. I was going to run out of options. Right? I didn't have enough self-belief. I didn't believe that I would be able to figure it out. I didn't have enough faith. I had too much fear, not enough faith. And so that made me feel scared and insecure. And I learned that what drives that are these unconscious beliefs that get in our way. And so that's why I always say you're just one belief away from having a huge breakthrough in your life. And so the one belief away method helps you figure out, what is that biggest fear that I have that's driving all these negative thoughts. And most common negative beliefs that we pick up in childhood that often we don't even know are there are beliefs like, I'm not good enough, right? I'm not worthy. I won't be loved. Uh, I'll be abandoned if I'm happy or successful. Or if I stand out, then that's when you get hurt, right? So I always have to hold back. I always have to hide my light, because if I shine brightly, the bad people will find me. And what I find is that if you shine really bright, it scares the bad people away, okay? The bad energy away. And so our goal is to shine brightly. Think of yourself like a lighthouse. Your goal is to turn the light on. Yeah, there's a dark storm out there, but lighthouses are born to shine. You turn your light on, and then what will happen is that the good people, opportunities, and energy that's out there, the love and the prosperity that's out there, can find you because your light is on. Can't find you if your light's off. So we got to turn our light on. The other thing that is very important is loving ourselves. When you're really feeling down and scared, hug yourself. Hug yourself and tell yourself, it's okay. I love me no matter what. I'm going to be okay. Things are going to work out, and you got this. And what keeps people from doing that, one, are those limiting beliefs. You know you have them if that idea makes you uncomfortable. To give yourself that love, that's a good clue to let you know that you've got subconscious programming in your mind that's faulty, that needs to be upgraded, because being loving and supportive of yourself is a wonderful thing to do. It's not something that should make anybody feel weird or uncomfortable. And so if it does, that's a clue. That's a red flag for you that you got some stuff in there that needs to be resolved. And so the second, or so the what you want to do when you realize that, the second you realize that, is you just start being loving to yourself. And what people say is, well, I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before. I don't know what to say. In that situation, tap into the power of your mind, because your mind knows how to do all of this stuff. So in your mind, you say to yourself, if there was a child, because usually people that have been hurt the most are also the most loving and supportive, right? And compassionate. So you're probably good at taking care of others, but terrible at doing it for yourself. If that's the case, then imagine that you have this child in front of you who is feeling the same way you are. Or you have someone that's a best friend for you and they're feeling the same way that you are. What would you say to them to make them feel better? Right? Well, what if I don't believe what I'm saying to myself? What would you say to that child or that best friend anyway? Right? In that situation, if the world was ending, you would still probably look at that child and say, we're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. I love you. You're amazing. The world's a better place because you're in it. And we're going to find a way to get through this, because that's what caring people do. We give each other support. And people are like, well, I'm lying to myself. No, you are speaking what you want into existence. If you don't speak what you want into existence, how can it exist? So you have to speak with the future in your voice. You have to say it the way you want it. If you don't say it, how are you going to get it? Right? Imagine your brain is like a GPS. If you never tell it where you want to go, how's it supposed to take you there? So we have to make sure that we are recognizing how our brain works, and then we're going to use it to our advantage. Whew. Okay, so use power questions. You take your power breath in, then you ask a power question. Then the third step is you be super loving to yourself, super kind, supportive, and compassionate of yourself, right? So that is the way to make ourselves feel safe when we're not feeling safe. It's a way of making ourselves feel loved when we're not feeling loved. It's a way of making ourselves feel hopeful when we're not feeling hopeful. These tools work. I've used them with thousands and thousands of clients and shared these with in videos that have been viewed millions of times, and they work. And so you just got to use them, right? So, and if you're finding that something's getting in the way, I guarantee it's some unconscious belief that we've got to find and we've got to upgrade. So start power breathing, asking those power questions so you can focus on what you want, and then be super loving to that little girl or little boy inside of you, because they need it more than anybody else in your life, and they need it most from you.